Um, I would like to indicate training program that is ending today. It's an initiative of the chair of the organ, South Africa, supported by the members Namibia and Lesotho, respectively, as well as with SADC Secretariat. So it's my honor now to introduce the High Table Relation, which is also the chairperson of the organ on politics, defense, and security. I would also like to introduce the Ambassador Nora Skimming Chase from Namibia. His Excellency Ms. Letwane.
Honored to be here with you today because what we are celebrating is fundamental to our societies. International Women's Day, 15th anniversary of Security Council Resolution 1325, and closely connected to the implementation of Security Council Resolution 1325 is the invaluable contribution that trained and professional women mediators add to international efforts for peace and reconciliation. There's a clear link between the Norwegian boardrooms in the 1990s and the field of international mediation today. As was mentioned before, a study commissioned by the UN Women that reviewed 31 peace agreements found that only 9% of the negotiators were women and only 4% of the signatories. And the question is this because there is a lack of women prepared to enter into international mediation? The answer is no. Once parties to a conflict look for women to take part in peace processes, they will find them. Once we really start looking for talented women mediators and mediation experts, we will find them. Look around you. Look straight. Some of them are here in this hall today. I will come back to that. They add qualities to international mediation that would have been lost otherwise. And then, of course, one could ask the general question, why is it so important to include women? And again, the answer is simple. UN Security Council Resolution 1325 put it straight. Recognizing that an understanding of the impact of armed conflict on women and girls, effective institutional arrangements to guarantee their protection and full participation in the peace process can significantly contribute to the maintenance and promotion of international peace and security. So this is serious stuff. And while the text speaks for itself, there are many other good reasons to increase the participation of women in peace processes. As the Chinese saying goes, women hold up half the sky. And not making use of the talents of half the population would be a great waste. You don't win the match with half the team on the bench. That is true for sports, for business, politics, peace processes, you name it. And it is true in the case of international mediation. So we need to integrate the gender perspective also in peace processes and agreements. And to do that, we need women's voices to be heard. Neither men nor women are immune to the consequences of armed conflict, but women and men experience the effects of conflict differently. And without female voices at the table, issues like gender-based violence, the rights of the missing, and issues connected to livelihoods will get less attention.
We will follow the alphabetical according to the country. And the first country is Angola, and we're calling on Ms. Sonia Andriano. The next colleague is from Madagascar. It's Ms. Marie Lydia Adrian Jaffe.
Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you. You were going to dance. Congratulations. 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 How shy.
Minister, Vanessa also was promoted about a week ago. So
Number of significant outcomes of the Congress, and a full report is available on the PYU website. Such an achievement. Indeed, young women of Africa are leading the continent to greater heights, and as the NYDA, we are at the forefront of young women's empowerment. Furthermore, at this Congress of the NYDA, we continue to raise concerns about the lack of access to education for young women on the continent, and globally for that matter, the high levels of teenage pregnancy, and the lack of support for young women in business. We will be working together with all government departments, the private sector, civil society, and continental and global institutions to address these issues. Yes, numbers and representation are important, but there are many more systemic structural issues preventing the total emancipation of women locally and globally, which require more sustainable programs involving both men and women. We have a long journey ahead, but we must never give up and never give in. We must march forward, leading our people and continent to peace and prosperity. Honorable Minister, you have always been a champion of youth development and young women in particular. Your efforts to ensure that young people are actively involved and always participate at the highest levels of work in international relations and corporations must be saluted. There was a time when we would struggle to get even communication with officials in the department to elevate issues and to take issues of young people seriously. But when Minister was appointed, it became so simple and easy that youth were saying that now we can find expression in the work of international relations and cooperation. And we must really salute you for that. Indeed, Minister, your department is leading the way in the mainstreaming of youth issues in the work of government. No other Minister of International Relations and Cooperation can claim to have achieved so much in such a short space of time. I therefore invite you to accept this award, Honorable Minister, in recognition of your outstanding and revolutionary leadership.
And celebrants of today. Our esteemed ambassadors, the things you've said about what Norway has done for women, it's what we want here. But so I want us to go back to say, why do we want to train more women mediators in the presence of our mediation reference group here? Because you are inherently born with this instinct, this care, this thing about women. Abare mosadi ke matshwara thipa ka bogaleng. Abare go re botsotsi. We don't stab. We hold the knife on the sharper end so that there be no blood shed. So that's why I said women not only love peace, they are peacemakers. They work for peace. They protect peace. They are peace builders. All they need, Principal Rom, is certificates. Because in this world, if you come with none, they will say, where were you trained? But remember that before we train their excellencies, the mothers come already with it. As we take this opportunity to congratulate the participants in this capacity building program on conflict resolution, negotiation, mediation, and constitution drafting for successfully completing this very intensive program, remember that it begins with you. That this is just about enhancing your capacity. It's not starting from zero. We also urge you to emulate the women of yesteryears mentioned that I've mentioned earlier on, but also remembering Lao Tzu, a Chinese scholar who once said, and I quote, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a simple step." You know what our simple step is. As you begin a journey that will advance conflict resolution, negotiation, mediation, and constitution drafting in our continent in particular, and in the world in general, you must believe that this first step will give back to Africa and the world that we will all love to live in. My colleagues at the Diplomatic Academy tell me that you were a dedicated and committed group, and that we can expect great contributions from you in the future conflict resolution, negotiations, and mediation. But remember that it begins with peace loving, peace making, maintenance of peace before you get into conflict management. For the benefit of all of us, this program goes all thanks to, as it has said earlier before, to the Secretariat, Sekadoso, to the Norwegian Embassy, Madam Ambassador, and to our diplomats here in DECO, and to SADC at large. I would like to once again thank all the partners for having made this possible. I would like to also thank the Pan-African Youth Union, represented here by he says he's an outgoing chair, for the peace bestowed on or to the women of the continent through me, and many others in Africa who have been here before me. It is heartwarming to know that the youth of this continent acknowledge work done in development of women and your good selves, the youth, within the mainstream of efforts to achieve our collective goal under the African Union Agenda 2063.
Speaking on behalf of my fellow participants of the Capacity Building Program on Conflict Resolution, Negotiation, Mediation, and Constitution Drafting. In this year, carrying the African Union theme, Women Empowerment and Development Towards Africa's Agenda 2063, this particular edition of this program has even more importance as it has sought to build the capacity of women to be able to participate in the peace process. Women are socialized nurturers and caregivers. They are family molders, community developers, and nation builders. Women are reinforcers of peace at home, and with a little bit more empowerment can be reinforcers of peace in the world. By virtue of genetics, women are different from men. Thus, women experience conflict differently from men and have a different approach to problem solving. Often, it is the boys who get up to mischief, and it is their mothers' jobs to sort them out. However, both men and women are affected by conflict, and the resolution of same should be addressed by both. Having said that, the men can rest assured that building capacity of women does not mean that they will be left out of the process, but rather the process will be further enhanced by having both men and women perspectives. This program has opened our eyes to the role that we as women can play in negotiation, mediation, conflict resolution, and constitution drafting, and we hope that it will assist in increasing the pool of well-formed and well-qualified women to be part of mediation teams and eventually becoming lead negotiators and mediators. Admittedly, not all of us are personally disposed to becoming mediators, but that should not preclude us from being part of mediation teams where the skills and knowledge acquired through this program can contribute positively to mediation efforts. Through this program, we have come to realize that mediation is not an easy task, but with the right tools, one can acquire the necessary skills to be able to assist in mediation efforts. In fact, we would go as far as to agree with one of our course facilitators that while we maintain the greatest respect for our eminent statesmen and diplomats who have until now been at the forefront of mediation efforts, the time is right for mediation to be established as a discipline, providing training and producing effective mediation practitioners. Over the course of the past 3 weeks, we have been informed on a number of occasions that this capacity building program will lead to the creation of a pool of available women and men to be part of mediation teams. As we go back to our separate countries and workplaces and resume our daily tasks, be sure that we will be earnestly waiting for the call.